Welcome to Combat Ready HQ. The world we live in today doesn't just feel chaotic, it feels engineered. Like someone behind the curtains is pulling the strings, tightening control, and slowly reshaping how we live, speak, and even think. We're told it's all for our safety, that increased surveillance, speech restrictions, and political crackdowns are necessary. But what if the real threat isn't chaos itself? It's who's orchestrating it. Today we're talking about how the government is slowly bringing in more control, using fear, division and manipulation to make us accept it, without ever realising what's actually happening. Division as a tool. Let's start with division. Everywhere you look, Britain is split in half. Left versus right, rich versus poor, citizens against immigrants, man versus woman. It's chaos, and chaos is powerful if you know how to use it. See, division gives the government permission to step in and restore order. They manufacture the problem, let the tension build, then swoop in with solutions that always mean one more thing: more control. Look at the media. Patriots, ordinary men and women who love their country, are being rebranded as extremists. If you raise your flag, they call it far right. If you talk about protecting your borders, they call it dangerous. This isn't an accident, it's a strategy. Because when people are proud of their nation, they stand united. When they're divided, they're easy to rule. Engineered chaos. Now I want you to think about this. How often do you see protests that come out of nowhere? How often does the media frame them in ways that pit them from one side against another? The government needs unrest to justify new laws, new surveillance powers, facial recognition, internet censorship, and limits on free assembly. And every time something kicks off, whether it's a protest, riots, or hate-fueled violence, they roll out new powers, temporarily, that somehow never get rolled back. Remember the pandemic, emergency powers, digital IDs, health surveillance? Now the same model is being repackaged under new banners. National security, online safety, misinformation. But behind every slogan lies the same idea: control through compliance. And to make it work, they need you afraid. Afraid of your neighbour, afraid of saying the wrong thing, afraid for standing up what's right. And before we go any further, I just want to take a quick moment to talk about something important for our veterans. If you've served in the British Armed Forces and you've suffered with hearing loss or tinnitus, maybe from the ranges, driving around in armoured vehicles, or being around aircraft noise, you do not have to live with that in silence. Veterans for Veterans is a team dedicated to helping those who have served, just like us, get the support and compensation you're entitled to. They understand what military life does to your hearing. They've helped thousands of veterans get recognition and justice for the damage caused for years of exposure. So if you're struggling to hear your family, the TV, or even the world around you, reach out to them today. It's 100% free and they'll guide you every step of the way. You can visit veteransforveterans.co.uk. The link is in the description to learn more and start your claim. We serve together and we look after our own. Let's get back into it. When governments want more control, they don't just wait for chaos. They create it. They fund studies, promote narratives, and push fear through mainstream channels to make the public beg for safety. Patriots are being called radicals. Protesters for freedom are being called extremists. Online speech is being filtered, tracked, and sometimes outright banned, all under the claim of preventing harm. But who decides what harm is? Who decides what is acceptable to say? We've reached a point where disagreeing with the narrative makes you the enemy. And that's how you weaken democracy from within. Once you silence enough people, you don't need to control them physically. They'll censor themselves. And that's when the real power begins. Now here's where it gets darker. If the divide continues, if tensions rise, and if people turn on each other, gives the perfect excuse for something far more severe. Martial law, curfews, movement restrictions, military presence on the streets to restore order. It sounds far-fetched until you realise they've already rehearsed the playbook. Every major crisis in the last decade, from terror attacks to pandemics, has been used to normalise temporary powers. But temporary has become permanent. The government doesn't need to announce martial law overnight. All it takes is a gradual erosion of rights. So slow, most people don't even know it's happening. By the time they do, it's already too late. And the Britain we know, the one our grandparents fought for, could quietly slip away. But here's what you can't control. Unity built on truth. When veterans, patriots and working class people start standing shoulder to shoulder again, when we remember what we share rather than what divides us, that's when the system starts to crack. We need courage, we need conviction, and we need people who aren't afraid to speak up. This isn't about hate, and it's not about extremism. It's about protecting what's left of our freedoms before they're gone for good. We are the people who stood the line when others wouldn't. We know what sacrifice means. And that same resilience that carried us through operations and hardship, that's exactly what carried Britain through this storm. If you've made it this far, remember this. The moment you label truth as dangerous and patriotism as extremism, you hand your country over to those that want to rewrite it. The government doesn't fear violence, it fears unity. So stay strong, stay together and never be beaten. And to my fellow veterans out there, if your hearing's taken a hit for years of service, don't let that go unrecognised. Visit veteransforveterans.co.uk and get the support you deserve. And a big shout out to all of our channel members, all of those that have viewed, subscribed. I appreciate all your support. And if you want to continue to support the brands, the channel, so we can continue to put out great content for you, then you yourself can become a channel member by clicking join below, or head over to combatreadyhq.co.uk. The link is in the description. Check out our coffee to make sure you stay fueled and focused, and check out some of our merch and apparel as well. I appreciate all of you who watch and all of your support. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.